Digital transformation and the digital challenges top on the agenda of most companies in the global sphere. With a strong focus on German blue chip companies, Sinner Schrader is in the business of helping big companies mastering that challenge. You might call it digital agency, but I think that only gives sort of part of what we actually do is really digital business transformation from the consulting all the way through the implementation to the coding of specific concrete digital projects. That's what Sinner Schrader does. That's a tricky question in a way, because digital agency is such a broad phrase. I think first you have to understand that there are, from our understanding, two different types of agencies out there. There are sort of the campaign-driven agencies and the platform-driven agencies. And we're definitely a platform-driven agency. And that's important because only then you can really drive business transformation. That's really building platforms, new platforms for interactions between companies and users, or platforms for internal things for companies. And that's very important. In being able to do so, really building platforms, you need a very, very strong IT competence as a core of your business. And that's what Sinner Schrader has. 45% of our people are software developers. And you need a frame of consultants, client service people, design people, data people around to deliver projects end-to-end, as we call it. We'd love to be really there for the company when they think about a new strategy, a digital strategy, and we want to implement it. And we even, if it's necessary, host it. And I think the completeness of the business approaches, that's something that differentiates us. And then we are in the business for 20 years. That's not what all the companies our competition can say about. And we have a lot of experience, and we're strong in delivery, and we have a good reputation for sort of delivering on the project. First of all, I think there is a nice German saying with respect to that question. It says, Konkurrenz belebt das Geschäft. Competition is stimulating business. And I think that's the very positive thing of it. It's a clear sign that the business is growing dramatically, that the budgets that companies are willing to invest in their digital transformation process have increased and are still increasing quite a lot. That means a lot of new business for us as well. Sure, with sort of the Accentures, the IBMs and Deloittes of the world going into that business again, it says that size matters more than it did in the past. We are now roughly 500 people, so we already have a decent size. But there is definitely a consolidation pressure that has increased. And so we are probably going to see M&A activity increasing in the next years, and we would love to be an active part in that consolidation going on in Germany. I think the most important driver right now is sort of the mobile revolution in a way. I think a lot of established companies now see that consumers really change their habits. It has been a continuous process of changing user behavior, but now with sort of the smartphones being around everywhere, that companies realize that consumers really have changed their habits and they have to adopt. That's one of the drivers that make sort of companies think earnestly about doing very big steps. The other thing is that data becomes such an important asset. It has become such an important. I think most of the established companies weren't aware of that. Now with sort of everybody watching Google and other companies just building their entire business, a multi-billion business, basically on data, they have realized that they have to catch up a lot on that. And that's also driving projects that try to sort of generate data, use data as a new source of ideas for business models. And so that's another big driver. So mobile revolution, data revolution, that's I think the most drivers, or the biggest drivers. Indeed, we've seen quite a lot of interest in SinnerSchrader and business is growing again. That's great. A lot of new clients, and we are currently in probably up to 10 pitches in parallel with well-known German companies. And we've seen that in the first half, and we are going to see that in the second half as well. For us, having gone through a year that was not very strong, the year 14-15, the current fiscal year going all the way through August 2016 is first of all a clear message to our shareholders that we deliver again on growth and on margin. We're going to see 50.5 million of revenues, and we promise and sort of underline that promise that we are going to see 5 million in operating profit this year. This is a dramatic increase of our margin, and this will all run through to an increase in the earnings per share to 26 cents per share, which is doubling compared to the past year. So the near-term outlook is very positive. So back to growth in the core business and back to a very good margin. If you talk about and think about the long-term perspective, it's really based on the drivers in the industry that we have just talked about. We foresee a continuous growth in our business, and we think that we will be able to double our revenues from 50 to roughly 100 million in 5 years' time. And we will also work on the margin to improve that to a level between 12 and 30% in the coming years.